Hi, my name is Will Woodward. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm recording this video as part of the application process for the front climbing gym for the front desk position um, in Salt Lake City. And I wanted to answer the questions that were sent to me. I want to start jumping into the one to tell you a little bit about myself. Um, I'm from Denver originally, and I've been working seasonally for the Voyager Outward Bound School for 8 years. So that's been a combination of being up in northern Minnesota, running long expeditions for young people in the wilderness of the Boundary Waters. That's canoeing. We also do some backpacking up here. And then I've spent my falls, winters, springs for the last 5 years working for the Voyager Outward Bound School in West Texas, doing whitewater canoeing on the Rio Grande, as well as desert backpacking in the Big Bend National Park and in the state park that is right there as well. So I'm going to talk a good amount about Outward Bound in this interview or in this recording because it's been such a huge part of my life. Not only has it been my job, but both in Texas and in Minnesota, I live at the base camp. And I'm part of a very intentional community when I'm not in the workplace. It kind of melds personal life and professional life. And it's also just been a huge influence on the person that I am and how I interact with the world and how I communicate and all of those things. So I think I first and foremost see myself as an educator. That's something I've been doing that whole time at Outward Bound. Started as an intern, was a field instructor for many years, leading month long up to 50-day expeditions, mostly with teenagers, and yeah, I see myself as that educator. I also see myself as a learner, to be the best Outward Bound instructor I can be in that whole process. And in the last few years, I've been doing more course directing. Now I'm the technical and support program manager for Voyager Outward Bound. Basically, I just do less time in the field, more time supervising staff, training staff, mentoring, and being in charge of field response and emergency response and that kind of thing. So yeah, Outward Bound has been really central to my life, and at this point, I am starting to move away from that to try to explore some other things that are important to me in my life. Some of the big pieces there are my partner, who's lived in Santa Fe, is based out of Salt Lake for flying for Delta. She's a flight attendant, and it makes a lot of sense for her to be moving to Salt Lake to be closer to work, and we want to be together, so we decided to rent a place in Salt Lake and move there to start a life together. So that's kind of what's bringing me to Salt Lake. And while I'm there, I just want to explore being away from Outward Bound and, really spend a lot of time climbing, spend a lot of time with my partner, be closer to my family that's in Colorado, experience a more stable life. And so I'm looking for meaningful work that doesn't necessarily need to be as high impact as what I've been doing at Outward Bound all the time. It's a very, very fast-paced, very immersive workplace. And yeah, I'm looking forward to just doing something a little bit different, having a little bit more of a work-life balance. The next question I want to answer is experiences I've had to contribute to a positive team environment. I mean, in so many ways, what we do at Outward Bound is focusing on creating positive groups, positive group culture for the students that we are taking out into the field. So as an instructor for many years, I was very focused on creating a supportive environment for the group that's out in the field by teaching communication tools, emphasizing assertive communication, talking about taking responsibility for your actions. We have meetings every evening with those groups to try to restore and talk about the day, debrief, make sure that people are actually saying the things that they need to say. Because ultimately, the buzzword about Outward Bound is it's to build teamwork. But really, what does that mean? Well, that means communicating well, learning to work with people that you don't necessarily agree with, and yeah, being resilient and willing to try new things because you're working with people that are different than you. So that's really central to what we do as instructors out in the field. Now in my role as a course director and as a program manager, I'm facilitating that experience in many ways for staff, both in the workplace and in the community here. And so, yeah, we live in a small community with shared responsibilities for this place, whether that's chores, whether that's like organizing group events, workplace meetings, all of these things. A big part of my job is making sure that people feel supported, people feel welcomed, people are also getting the feedback that they need to get for their job and for how they show up in the community, so that this community and this workplace continues to be a well-oiled machine. And so improve my communication skills immensely through that time. I think that's something I would bring to the front climbing gym, is just the ability to speak my mind, let people know what my experience of their actions is, give my perspective, as well as just sit back and listen and be in that learner role. Okay, talking about customer service a bit. I think there's a few pieces there. I've worked in a variety of different customer service jobs. Most recently, the customer service that I've done for Outward Bound is mostly talking to parents or group partners that are sending a number of students to us. But I'll often have to make phone calls to parents about their son or daughter is having some behavioral problems out in the field, or they're injured in some way. They have some medical issue or something like that, right? So then I'm calling them, breaking this news in a compassionate but direct way, making sure that they're getting all the information they need, and then sitting back and listening, making sure that they feel heard. I think that customer service in any realm is about the customer feeling seen, heard, and welcomed. And so if it's in a front desk position, in this case, it's like those initial small interactions that you have with patrons, just to, be a smiling face, be someone that is like happy that they're there, and eager to help them in whatever they need. And then if there's more complex problems that these patrons have, these people that are coming in to climb, that are paying good money to come climb in our gym, that we actually take the time to engage with them and answer their questions. And if we don't have the answer to the questions, being honest and saying, here's the process for me, I got to go talk to someone else about this, or whatever that is. Just being really present there with them, rather than they shouldn't feel like I'm doing it out of a sense of obligation, but that I actually want to help them. I think that's huge. Being patient, listening, and staying engaged. And I think the last question, my relationship to climbing. I really hadn't climbed as a younger person very much. I started climbing when I was, I think, 24, when I started working at Outward Bound, actually, and immediately got hooked. I was very into it, got the gear, started climbing on my own, doing a lot of sport climbing. Since then, over the last 7 years, I've done a ton of sport climbing, a good amount of trad climbing, single pitch, multi-pitch. I love climbing in red rocks, doing long multi-pitch moderate routes. That's really, really exciting for me. And since, because of the job that I've had, I don't have a ton of time to stay in great shape. So doing long moderate routes works really well for me. And I'm really excited to be in one place where I can use a gym a lot on a regular basis, in a stable way, to actually up some of that strength. I've also had a different relationship with climbing in a work context. In my role right now, I'm in charge of all of the technical climbing sites that we do. So we have students that go rock climbing periodically throughout a course. And it's my job to make sure that the site managers for those rock climbing sites are properly trained, that there's a paper trail to make sure that everybody's getting the training that they need, looking at trends, looking at incidents, making sure that we're running safe programming, making changes to systems as new technology comes out, all that kind of stuff. So I've led a variety of trainings, anchor building workshops, and I've facilitated very many, it's hard to put a number on, of student climbing days You're teaching students to belay, teaching students to climb, teaching students how to be safe when they're climbing. So it's a huge passion for me in my own personal time, and it's also a big part of the work that I've done for the past 8 years. So that's a little bit about me. I'll be really excited to work for the Front Climbing Gym, and I will eagerly await a response. Thank you so much.